Little disclaimer part before I start the video. None of this video is serious at all. It's largely just an excuse for me to talk about Silence, which is one of my favorite books, and a okay adaptation from Martin Scorsese, and then a couple other things. The quality of my camera was just horrendous the entire time for some reason. Lighting, I don't know what the big issue was. So sorry about that. And then the last thing is, I had fully edited this video, and then all those in favor, new video drops where they have something else I have to debunk. The kids in the Growing Faith cartoons on YouTube, produced by the church, the kids, they kept calling Matt Miguel the entire video because they were reacting to some Miguel episodes, and then they reacted to a Matt episode. And twice in the video, he's called Matt gets his own name said in the video, and Cade is talking over it both times. So they never figure that out. There's multiple episodes of that show where Matt and Miguel are together in the same room at the same time for the whole episode. Man, you can't sneak Growing Faith lore mistakes past me. I have 3 children. I've seen every episode 100 times. Anyways, regular video happening, starting now. Never thought I'd see the day when I had to make this video. In the latest All Those in Favor video, what's it called? Give me 1 second. Mormons answered 10 questions Christians can't answer at the timestamp, like 46 minutes. Baylor gives his opinion on the movie Silence, directed by Martin Scorsese, based off of the book by Shusaku Endo. Baylor takes issue with Liam Neeson's monologue towards the end of the movie. Liam Neeson plays Father Ferreira. He's talking to Rodriguez, played by Andrew Garfield, and Father Ferreira says, well, we'll let Baylor say it actually.
Which is why I take issue with the end of the movie Silence, where Liam Neeson's like, the Japanese, they can't even understand what we say when we say God, or when we say the Son of God. You know, they think we're talking about the sun or whatever.
When we say the sun rose again after 3 days, they don't get it. The sun rises every day.
Which seems like a problem, because that's like an English, what are those called when 2 words have the same sound? Homophone.
Guys, you gotta watch the movie again, man. You gotta watch the movie again. Liam Neeson explicitly states that when Francis Xavier came to teach people, he had to figure out how to refer to God in Japanese. He was told, don't know by who, Liam Neeson doesn't say, he was told Dainichi, which means great son.
Francis Xavier came here to teach the Japanese about the Son of God, but first he had to ask how to refer to God. Dainichi, he was told. And shall I show you their Dainichi? Behold, there is the Son of God, God's only begotten Son. In the scriptures, Jesus rose on the 3rd day. In Japan, The Son of God rises daily.
And that was the frame of reference that Francis Xavier had for the Japanese to understand God. When Liam Neeson is saying that what Cade was talking about, saying, they say that it is something that Liam Neeson says, but the Son of God rises on the third day. Well, that sun rises every day. That was just Liam Neeson trying to explain to Andrew Garfield, like a little visual metaphor, trying to explain how the Japanese mindset isn't suited for Christianity, which, if you were to take the movie as a whole and not just that scene in a vacuum, and you saw the aftermath of this conversation, specifically when Rodriguez, spoilers by the way, when Rodriguez is convinced by Liam Neeson and told, from what Rodriguez can tell, that it is okay to step on the fumi, which is the little image of Christ that they have, and have that be like a visual of Rodriguez denying Christ. Although he never really says it explicitly. That's sort of what Rodriguez is told to do in order to show that he's denying Christ, to keep more Christian Japanese people from dying, because that's what the Japanese said that he had to do in order to stop the torture of Japanese Christians. And just before he does it, I'm pretty sure it's in the book, just before he steps on the fumi, Liam Neeson tells him that he has to do the hardest thing he will ever do. The entire time, Rodriguez, Andrew Garfield, the entire movie, and the entire book for that matter, it's a little more explicit in the book. The entire book, Rodriguez is seeing Jesus Christ in himself. It's very explicitly put out there in the scene where he's so thirsty that he goes to the river and starts drinking the water and sees the reflection of Jesus in his own reflection, because he was obsessed with the face of Christ. He was obsessed with the martyrdom of Christ. He was obsessed with the trials that Christ had to go through, and he felt like he was experiencing what Jesus Christ had to go through in order to continue felt like he was experiencing what Jesus Christ had to go through. And in the book, from the very beginning, Rodriguez wanted to be martyred if it came to it. That was, he called it a glorious martyrdom throughout the book. He wanted to be martyred. The point of the book, the point of the story, is kind of like the famous adage. I don't know who said it. I feel like I'm tripping. To be completely honest. Someone tell me where this is from. A quote, and it's probably not the whole quote. You have the strength to die for Christ, but do you have the strength to live for Christ? I've heard that somewhere. The whole point of the book was Rodriguez understanding that it wasn't his place to die for the Japanese Christians. He had to live for them. And Liam Neeson, Father Ferreira, was trying to get him to understand that. That's why he tells him, you're about to do the hardest thing you will ever do. He knows from experience. Father Ferreira does. It's sort of like the epilogue of the book, but it's sort of the end of the movie, when Rodriguez is living as a Japanese, and he's in charge with Father Ferreira of inspecting stuff that's being imported for Christian symbols, so that it can be, they can punish the Christians that are trying to sneak stuff into the country. Father Ferreira lets some stuff pass. He says, oh, this is fine, this artifact is fine, and then when Rodriguez re-inspects the stuff that Father Ferreira said this is fine, Rodriguez looks even further and finds Christian symbols. And the look that Father Ferreira gives him shows him, it's like a disappointed look. Because Father Ferreira, this entire time, was trying to help those Japanese Christians as sort of like a double agent almost. And Father Ferreira couldn't explicitly say it. He tried to get Rodriguez to understand that at the trampling of the Fumi. And after Rodriguez steps on it, it doesn't happen in the movie. I will never forgive Martin Scorsese for this. After he steps on it, in the book, a rooster crows. The symbolism of Peter denying Christ. That he was able to do that, and Peter still was able to move on as someone who lived by doing what was necessary in order to help the Japanese Christians. And Rodriguez doesn't understand that until Kichijiro comes and finds him after he had apostatized and tries to confess to Rodriguez. Rodriguez then, he tries to stop Kichijiro. He tries to say, no, I'm not doing this. I'm apostate. I'm not in the Catholic priesthood anymore. And Kichijiro doesn't care. Rodriguez hears his confession, and I think this is where it clicks to him that he's still able to do his duty to God for the sake of Japanese Christians. My wife, when I watched this movie with her, I wanted her to feel the story like I did after reading the book. She missed a lot of that. She interpreted the Rodriguez character as weak, interpreted the Father Ferreira character as like a bad guy. I mean, he's not the best, and it's debatable, I guess, what his plan really is. The moral of the story: silence is not an unambiguous story. Rodriguez had to give up his pride and come to understand that it is easier to die for Christ than it is to live for him in this circumstance. The last thing that Rodriguez wanted to do was to apostatize. He would rather die. And if he had died, nothing would have changed. But because he did the hardest thing that he had to do, he was able to, at the very least, help Kichijiro, who had been a weak man begging for Rodriguez's help the entire movie, the entire story. When I was like 16, I went with my priesthood group, like my whole stake, all the young men. We went to New York, and we ended up in the Sacred Grove one of those days. I had been struggling to receive answers to my prayers for years at this point, and I decided that day it would be the day where I truly pray and I truly fight to receive my own personal revelation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But I was a very prideful young man, and I didn't when I went into the Sacred Grove, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna get on my knees and pray, but I'm gonna find like a nice muddy spot to do it in. I hate this about myself, because that way I'm gonna have mud on my knees and everybody's gonna know that I was praying. It's embarrassing. And I did that. I found a nice muddy little spot, got on my knees, and I prayed, and I felt nothing. I felt it. I couldn't even get the words out. They would not come out. And so I got up and I walked around, just continued walking on the path that was there until I passed a nice dry spot. And it was the clearest instructions I had ever heard from the Holy Spirit. Told me, now I can pray. Now I can kneel down and I can pray. And so I did. I knelt down and I received answers that I had been searching for years and years. That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the true Church of Jesus Christ. That Jesus lives, who once was dead. I can be forgiven from my sins, and I have to dedicate the rest of my life to Him. I have to. And that everything I've done from that point, that was a split. There's everything before that point, and there's everything after that point. And I've been living after that point this entire time. And when I got up and walked around, I noticed, despite kneeling in that muddy area, my pants were completely dry. Nobody knew what had happened to me. My sense of pride was totally trampled. God helped me to understand that I'm not going to assist him in a way that puts me on a pedestal. Rodriguez didn't get the understanding of the trials of Jesus Christ that he desired by martyrdom as he had wished. He only understood what the Savior had to go through when he had to do the hardest thing he had ever done. I say all this to say, Baylor, Cade, I love you. It was not a homophone. It was just Liam Neeson trying to do a little object lesson so that he could take Rodriguez with guile in order to lead him in the right direction. And anybody who thinks that Silence isn't a good story is taking a Catholic perspective on it. Why would you do that? Why would you be like, oh, but he's not a Catholic priest anymore, and now he has to engage with the Japanese Christians in a more personal manner? Oh, he doesn't have a... He came to understand Jesus Christ and is spreading the message of Jesus Christ in a more personal way. That's bad. He stepped on a picture of Jesus. That means he is bad and evil. He got permission from Jesus to do it. Because, and in the scene, the trampling scene, he's told by Jesus Christ, it's not for you to die for them. I did that. It's not up to you. You don't got to do that. You have to live for them. Man, I wish people understood this movie or book. Read the book. Okay, bye.